Rimworld is finally merging with Dwarf Fortress. Finally. Now, this may look like one of the worst Rimworld bases you've ever seen. I mean, it's just literally just solar panels and a whole bunch of uranium slug turrets. There's a fridge with a corpse in it, one corpse that's not even outside of it, and some broken batteries, and a lot of these solar panels don't even work. But what if I told you this was actually a fully functional base? That is just absolutely ridiculous. And it is, because suddenly one of the most requested mods I've ever seen, and features of Rimworld actually, are Z levels, or Z levels, if you're American, or if you speak like that, I don't know. Let's take a look. Welcome to the rest of the base, which is just underground. I've got my hydroponics here, as you can see, growing everything. A fridge inside with this room at 100 degrees Celsius, which is enough to turn water into steam easily. The fridge is cooled the rest of the production rooms, so I've got tailoring benches, a drug room, of course we need this, 2,000 smoke leaf joints, by the way, enjoy yourselves, over 2,000 cloth, a whole bunch of other crafting things, recreation room, hospital, and then the bedrooms, which are crazy. Battery storage, and in the heart of the actual place, which is the heaters, keeping it at a nice toasty 21 degrees Celsius, which is pretty nice. I don't know how much that is in Fahrenheit, but it is a comfortable temperature. Then we got the armory, places to make armor, where we make all our stone bricks, and then even a prison, because of course this is a BaRKy video, I have to have a prison. But what's up, guys? Welcome to Z levels. It is the mod that allows you to make a new world basically on top of another one, and you can carry on going down. What the mod does is it adds in a new mechanic. I don't know why I'm looking at the production tab. A new mechanic where you can craft these things called wooden stairs down, and you can place them over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this quickly and just show you. You can keep going down and down and down and down forever. And then you go down. Give it a second to load. Please don't crash. And he came straight back up, because of course he did. And there we go. Your new world. This is one level below this one, which is one level below the surface, and now you can go wild down here and just do something like this. Hopefully people come down and do it eventually. The cool thing about this mod is that pawns will actually do this automatically, so because they're very busy right now they probably won't, but if I make mining number 1, they will go down and begin mining. Once I can actually stay down here. And there we go. Once we have enough people down here to do this, just make it that. Start digging out our new base. That is basically it. But going down isn't the only thing you can do, because as you saw, I brought the power down with me. I have no way of generating electricity down here, and how you do that is you create a power transmitter column. So this one here, I made it out of plasteel, but you can make it out of anything you want, any metal at least, and you do this. So now you made a transmitter column. Now this column will correlate directly with where you are below. So if I go downstairs now again, and I want to put it exactly where this one is, so it's right to the left, so I want to build one right to the left of it, which is over there. Come on, useless. And then you do that, and you connect up some power to it, whatever, and soon it'll transmit electricity down below. So the only thing I have upstairs, which I don't even need to do, to be fair, you don't need to do this, I've just done it for the video, is connected a whole bunch of solar panels up to this steel power transmitter column, and that gives me 35,000 watts or whatever it is, and then just defend the top. That is basically it. The reason I say you don't need to do this is because it is pretty trivial to just go downstairs and build a whole lot of chem fuel generators or something inside here. You have basically the biggest limiting factor usually for these sorts of things is the heat. So if you were to spam these all over, you'd be generating a whole ton of heat. But you can get away with it just fine with the Z levels mod as long as the base is large. I've sort of messed up the orientation. This is gonna give me a headache. Give me 1 second. So let's take a look. So it's 21 degrees inside right now. If I set these to max, it doesn't even budge the temperature. I mean, not even a bit. And this is 25,000 watts that we're just putting in right here. So 25,000 and you're totally fine. Obviously this is a massive base, but you can get away with this. You can get away with making these incredibly lavish bases just because you're not going to be attacked from the sides. So you can make it as you want. Make a massive kill box, then you're sorted. But yeah, 25,000, you could expand this a ton. And I'd be surprised if it shifted much, if at all. So there we go. We got a shift up of 1 degree. 2 degrees now. And that's bringing it. So this is bringing up the colony by several degrees Celsius. And you can just lower these things down to get that down. Which is just crazy, because how much is this actually putting out right now? 90,000 watts. You will not need this much power. You will not need this much power. Yeah, it's just crazy. 90,000 watts. So that's basically 3 times what I've got up on the surface right now worth of power. Because I'm putting out about 40,000, I'd say, actually. So about 2.5 times. And all you need to do is just replace this with a wood farm. So you can't cut yourself off completely from the surface, unfortunately, without the use of some incredible mods. So you can maybe have hydroponics that grow trees, for example, or have some wood substitute or something like that. But you can get pretty damn close. I mean, all I need to go to the surface for is power. So wood in this form, or maybe chem fuel, which you can eventually get down here with just chem fuel generators, and then growing the stuff you need for it there. And then you basically never need to go to the surface again, which is pretty cool. It has literally made the game completely and utterly trivial. People ask me to speak about balance quite often, and I think this is one of the easiest ways to play a game because I've never been threatened once. You barely need to worry about being upstairs at all. It is in beta, so do keep that in mind that it's still sort of in development, although I've heard that it has been here for quite a while, so that's quite cool. But the biggest thing though is that usually, so what happens is when you create a new world, you can travel to another area, say over here or whatever, make up a second colony, and then you can switch between them. This just keeps them on the same tile in the world. So you can kind of see that. If I zoom out a bit, you can see that there's an underground there, and it takes you to it. Now, obviously, I'm doing a second level, and you can keep going constantly. Just go down, down, down. I don't know exactly if there's a limit, but it's still pretty cool. The biggest thing though is that bills and everything like that, all the bills that colonists can put down go through the different layers. So if you, as I showed you with the mining, they will go down to actually mine it. That doesn't normally happen with different tiles in the world, not that I've seen at least. So that's probably the coolest feature of the world. So if you actually have, for example, raiders coming in and attacking you on the surface, they will come down the stairs to attack you down here. That doesn't happen on the overworld. Raiders don't travel between the different tiles in the world. So obviously it does make the game completely trivial. I mean, infestations would be a complete pain in the ass to deal with. That's why I've sort of built the rooms like this, so that you have a lot of space in between them, and then just one tile so that if insects come through here, you can just shoot them. I have played this quite legit for quite a while now, so you can see the world's almost 2 years old. But I've just gone ahead and pretty much mitigated all of that. I cannot believe how much fun this is though. So the weather does get synced in between. So it says indoors 21 degrees. That's just because I've got this going over here. But if I look outdoors, it's 28. And that's because it's summer outside. So you do need to keep temperature sort of at bay in a place like this. It does get naturally colder because you're spreading out the heat between a whole lot of different indoor areas, which means it would get a bit hotter, but it's bit colder. But it is still pretty cool. It is still pretty cool. Now, I've had some issues causing incidents to do with Z levels, and it usually crashes my game quite a bit. Let me just save this quickly. It does crash my game quite a bit, and I cannot get it to work. So there's no incidents on the map. And if I wanted to do anything here, I cannot get it to actually work. Though I've heard that you get a I've heard that you do get different sorts of infestations that happen because of this mod, but I can't seem to get it to actually begin. No, let's not do that. Yeah, so I can't get anything to work here. It doesn't happen on the surface either. I'm not sure if that's a bug. I mean, it should be, because according to the bio, it's supposed to be working. So that's quite cool. But there's apparently meant to be Skyfallers, so people who land on the overworld and they plummet through into the base below. Other than that though, it is an absolutely amazing mod. I'm shocked at how cool this is. It's such a cool idea, and it's actually relatively, I don't want to say simple, because it sort of does a disservice to the mod maker. And I don't know how difficult it is to do something like this, but it seems so simple in nature that you could just create a new level below. And this is it. Everyone has been asking for Z levels in Rimworld, and here it is working perfectly. I mean, I have no issue with it. It does put a big damper on your performance though, so do keep that in mind. There is nothing you can do about that though. You're loading 2 worlds at the same time, now a third with that one there. So I do recommend, if you are going to use this mod, to just make sure that you don't go more than like 2 levels below, I'd say. And then my biggest second recommendation, make sure you have fire foam poppers all over your base, because obviously you're going to put your batteries in the below, and batteries don't like fire, I found out. So yeah, anyways, I'd really recommend you go give this mod a try. I seriously think this is one of the coolest mods I've ever seen from Rimworld ever. The fact that raiders will come down the stairs and attack you is just such an awesome idea. It does make the game trivial, as I've said though. A lot of people do ask me to speak on balance. It is ridiculously easy. So what you can do is just put a ladder here and just have a kill box right around it, and you're set for the rest of the game basically. So that could use some work, it could use some tweaking. I don't know if they're interested in balancing it though. I don't think it necessarily needs to. I don't think every mod needs to be completely and utterly balanced. I think this is fine as it is. It's just a really, really cool idea. The hydroponics makes it trivial though. Another thing that really, really just dampens it. I don't know. We'll have to see about it. It does consume a lot of power. I have a ridiculous amount of solar panels, so it's a bit cheaty for me to say, yeah, just do this and this and this. But anyways, do give this mod a try. Go show the mod makers some love. There's 3 of them in total. I don't know who did the bulk of the work, but there's Rimworld, Arisha, and Taranchuk. Please go give them some love. Say what's up to them. Again, one of the coolest mods I've seen for Rimworld. The fact that you can have a tiny base and not have to worry about too many things is really just cool. Just before I say goodbye, okay, so having said what I just said previously, I took it upon myself to try and challenge myself to try and make this completely self-sufficient, as in you never need to go to the surface again. And this is what I've come up with. So the heating is a massive issue. So as you can see, if I put down, let's just slam some doors here to cut off this room. If I tie this off, the rest of the colony goes down, but this one goes up to about 200 degrees Celsius, I want to say, around about there. Now there is a limit that you can have it at until the actual chem fuel generators start to break down and burn and combust and everything, because they are flammable. And I especially don't want chem fuel, which I've stored over here, to be flammable. Which is flammable, to be in a place where they're probably going to catch a light. It also means colonists can't spend much time in here, so they get heat stroke incredibly quickly. So there we go, around 120 C. It'll probably go up more. Well, that sits and bakes for a little bit. I can show you what I've done. So obviously we had a shit ton of rice. There's just rice growing constantly. I mean, the grow rate on hydroponics is like 200% or something crazy. 280% there. So I'm just turning it into chem fuel with these biofuel refineries. So I've specified them to only use rice, and some other materials, so we've got quite a bit of smoke leaf every now and then. And I've set it at 5,000, so they're gonna hold up 5,000 over here and keep doing that. Alright, Collins needs treatment. Does he though? Yeah. 130, 140. What's that? Sitting at 140 degrees Celsius and still climbing, although albeit a bit slower, but still. And what is it outside of here? Sitting at 24 degrees Celsius outside, so about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So another little trick that I've had is built a cooling room at the top here. Only for emergencies though. So you can go ahead and flip it off over here, or flick it off, excuse me. Where are my manners? Do that. This would take quite a bit of effort to build, I think, but not nearly as much as this. So, alright, so 150 degrees Celsius. Colonists cannot spend long in here at all, but they can for a little bit. And the only reason they're spending so much time in here is just to hold stuff now. I've built the chem fuel room right near it, so that they don't need to travel very far to get to the place where they need to be. And there's a cooler inside here, although the cooler is literally colder than the actual inside of it, which is just a travesty, to be quite honest. Now you could mitigate all of this, so if I get rid of these doors, you could mitigate all of this by making a bigger colony. So just digging out all of this, which will just be used as passive cooling basically. So now you can see that I've set my colony to about 33 degrees Celsius, which is fine. People can deal with 33 degrees Celsius relatively easily. It is summer outside at the moment, so it does add to it a little bit. But yeah, those are your choices. This base is completely self-sufficient now. I don't need to ever go outside again. Kind of like COVID lockdown, I think. I'm kind of chuffed with this, although I did make it using God mode. But you could do this totally fine. It would just take you a lot longer. The reason why I use God mode is because otherwise the most of the video would just be me building stuff, which is kind of boring. But yeah, you could totally do this. Coolest in at 130 degrees Celsius, and inside at about 32, between 30 and 32. Indoors 23 over here, which is quite nice, and this is at 150. I don't think you even need this. Turn this off, watch the temperature. Yeah, this barely makes a dent. I mean, you're trading this cooler for like 3 or 4 degrees Celsius, and the reason why is just because this leaks heat anyways. If you want to do it properly, I would have to take up a much bigger area, like that sort of thing, and you could make this giant heat sink. But that's it. I don't think it's a very good idea, but you can. It's certainly doable. In fact, it's quite easy to make a totally self-sufficient colony. Just have a good researcher. So just some stats for the nerds. Our total power consumption sits at around about 95,000 watts when we have all of these things on at the same time. So I've got 119 chem fuel power generators here. They all put out 1,000 each. So I've got quite a bit of excess here. There's quite a lot. I could probably cut down, let's say 34. I could probably cut down about 20 of these. So cut out about there, gone. And this would still be enough. I don't know how feasible this would be in an actual game, although I've got more than enough chem fuel being made to satisfy the needs of it. It doesn't drain as slowly as I thought it did. So you don't actually need that much to keep it going. I don't know what will happen when we run out of rice, because I can see how our stores have gone down 2,000 since I started, or about 1,500. But it is interesting. I'd recommend having a backup. And that's it. But anyways, I'm gonna say goodbye for real now and leave this here, because this is the kind of thing that I could obsess over and get completely stuck in. I'm already thinking about what you could do with the second floor. Just have the second floor just dedicated to electricity. I don't know. Anyways, okay, it doesn't matter. Thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it much more than you think. I'm seriously going to leave the video there. Give a shout out to the mod makers. They're absolutely amazing. And again, thank you so much for watching. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye. Hey, thank you very much for making it to the end of the video. It's really, really awesome of you. I've got a Discord server that's free for all to join if you'd like to come and have a chat with me or anyone else. And I've also opened up a Patreon page to help fund my videos. So if any of those interest you, please go ahead and take a look at the description. Have a great day, and thank you very much for watching.